Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm taking part in the Yes Please Paper Crafts 5K celebration hop. I was thrilled when Karen organised this, and she very kindly made some flair for us all, and the ones on the left are the ones that I chose out of her shop to use on a layout. So my original idea was to do a layout on travel, and this is travel, but when I realised I'd picked black and red, I decided I was going to go with Disney. So what I did is I got all my Disney papers together from Simple Stories and Fancy Pants, they're there on the left. And then I set about trying to think of a way to showcase these beautiful flair that Karen had made for me. And I came up with the idea, which seems quite obvious, I'm sure, to make a layout that was the shape of a Mickey head. So this is me just sketching onto cardstock the rough shape that I wanted. I was quite hesitant at first, and I know it's only pencil and paper, but I was just trying to get the proportions right. I suppose I could have drawn around something. It didn't really occur to me at the time, so I just wanted to get some pencil lines down because I'm actually going to take it over to my sewing machine, which I've done now, because I want the circles to be a bit rough. So I'm just going to come in with a rub out those pencil lines that I made. So it's just stitched in black thread, and it's not perfect, but that's exactly how I wanted it to look. So the photograph was taken a few years ago at Disney in LA. I was lucky to take two of my children there, and we had a fabulous time. So I've gone through most of my supplies that are the right colours for these papers, and I filled them in the tray. So you've got some Shenanigans stars, some Bramble Fox Mickey heads, some sequins, obviously Karen's flares, some brads, and a few bits and pieces that I've picked out from some of the papers that I had in my stash. So I don't want to cover up the whole of this Mickey head, otherwise there would be no point in me sewing it. So I'm just thinking of doing some clusters around the sewing lines. So that was a Fancy Pants paper, and I've just cut out an individual ticket to help just embellish either side of my photograph. I don't want to cover too much of it up. And if you can see, it's one of those photos that Disney take for you, and it's got 2014 written along the bottom. So I'm just looking now at placing some of these bits and pieces around. I love making layouts. I love the process of making layouts. So for me, this is just perfect. Getting to pick bits up, move them around. I'm not very good at sticking things down straight away to start with, but for me this is all part of the process. The speech bubbles were cut out of a Simple Stories paper, and I like the size of them. I thought they just added a little bit more interest to the clusters. So it was really good to have a dig about in my stash actually. I haven't put brads on something for quite some time, and that was because I was actually just focusing on the colours that I wanted to use for this layout. So it definitely had me looking through other bits and pieces. So I craft standing up. I know it's not something that everybody does, but I find that when I'm in my craft space, if I am standing up, I'm more likely to go and pick up other things and bring them over and add them to a layout. I find that once I'm sat down, I don't want to get back up again. So I've got a worktop in my craft area that is standing height. It does have a bar stool underneath, so I can actually sit on that if I really wanted to. But yeah, I do find that the more I move around, the more bits and pieces I use from my stash. And hey, we've all got stuff that we've just tidied away that needs to get used up now and again. So anyway, back to this layout. As you can see, I'm loving just moving stuff, adding bits and pieces. There's lots of people going to be taking part in this hop, so do make sure that you go around and have a look at what everybody else has done with these lovely flares. If you've not subscribed to my channel, that would be great, so you could follow some of the other layouts videos that I do. And you can also find me on Instagram as Sheena Ribena Scraps. So something I was going to ask you is, when I started to think about doing this layout as a Disney layout, I automatically got out my Disney stash. So do you use stash for what it's designed for, or would you just have dug out stash as the colours for the photograph? I'm interested. It's funny, I never even thought about it at the time. I went straight to the, I keep all my papers in, well, everybody does things differently, don't they? But I tend to keep my papers by manufacturer. So I've got my Vicky Boutin stuff together, and I've got my Simple Stories and my Cocoa Vanilla, etc. But when it comes to things like Disney, I tend to keep my Disney together, I tend to keep travel together, and I tend to keep Halloween and Christmas together. Now, I'm not sure this is the best way to store papers and stuff, but I'd be curious to know how you store yours. Do let me know in the comments. So this is me. I've stuck it down. There's a few sentiments from Rosie's Studio that I've added at the top of the Mickey head there. I do like the way there's a little bit of dimension with the flares. I'm really pleased with this. This is the final layout and some close-ups too. As I say, do hop round the group and do check out Karen's flares in her Yes Please paper craft shop. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hopefully I will share another video with you soon. Bye for now.